Nearly 1 out of every 5 human beings on the planet lives in China. That's almost 1.4 billion people total. To give you some sense of scale, the United States has less than 0.4 billion total. There's a lot of people. Now the Communist Chinese government wants to give every single one of these people a ranking. Chinese officials plan to use technology to collect and analyze people for their new social credit system, which will then allow the government to administer punishment and, of course, hand out rewards, the carrot and the stick, based on good and bad behavior. Political obedience, of course, will be central to this. It's basically naughty and nice, but there's no Santa in this calculation. What does this mean, and could it come here? Gordon Chang is author of The Coming Collapse of China, and he joins us tonight. Gordon, thank you very much for coming on. So this is such a dystopian vision that a government could exert this level of social control over a population this large. It's hard to believe this could happen. Is this actually going to happen?
Well, it certainly is happening right now. What we have in China is that there's so many people there, of course. The government wants to control them, and so what they're doing is they're collecting data. They're collecting data from 600 million cameras that they'll have in place in 2020. They're going to have, traffic checks, all the rest of it. This is being rolled out, and it's being rolled out very quickly. So, for instance, you've got people who are not allowed to board planes and trains because their social credit score is far too low.
So this is the kind of thing, since our ruling class pays such close attention to human rights abuses abroad, and we're always worried about Myanmar and what are they doing to journalists in Moscow. This seems like a glaring civil rights violation, human rights violation. Why do we never hear anything about it from the self-appointed moral watchdogs atop our society?
That's a great question, and I actually don't know the answer for it, because this is the biggest human rights abuse in the world today. And we have China putting people basically into internment camps in northwestern China. 1 million people. This is a crime against humanity. We don't hear about that either. And the thing that I think we will hear about it is when they roll out this system for foreigners. So we know that the Chinese government is tracking Chinese in the United States. They are actually contacting people in the U.S. This is just going to get worse and worse until the U.S. government pushes back. What about the tech companies, our tech companies that exert so much social control over our society? Have they issued an unequivocal statement against this, or do we suspect they sympathize with this idea? I think they probably sympathize with it because they sold much of the technology to the Chinese that they've used, incorporated into their system. Now, of course, the Chinese have been able to improve what they've gotten, but nonetheless, they would not be anywhere near their level of perfection if it weren't for U.S. and other Western companies. Do we send them torture equipment too for political prisoners? At some point, can a company do something that's so morally repulsive that there's an outcry about it? The idea that American tech companies are abetting this garbage is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And also we've got American companies in Xinjiang, which is that region in northwestern China where you have, the attempt to eradicate the Muslim religion. Well, we have U.S. companies with big operations in Xinjiang, and, they shouldn't be in China anyway, but nonetheless, to be at the site of a human rights violation, which is the worst in the world, it's just indescribable, as you put it. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind next time the Google guys want to lecture me about my moral shortcomings. Gordon Chang, thank you very much. Great to see you. Thanks, Tucker.